the blizzards, the deserts. You can't escape the noise pollution, smog, dragons, pirates. It's all too much. Hey, that American in New Zealand here again. And no, you guessed it, there are none of those things at all. It was a joke. But let's get into some things that you will 100% see here in the big NZ. The commonest things. Most common things. As common as a housefly. And actually, tack that on because I don't know about you, but my house can't seem to get rid of them. Anyways, the last one is here for your safety. So stick around for that. Let's get into it. Number one is stubbies. What are stubbies? Well, for those of you who don't know, they are shorty shorts for men. I actually think they're so cute. Show off those thighs, guys. They come in any color, especially pastels for some reason. You can get them at any shop, Farmers, Warehouse, the dreaded Kmart, and a bajillion others. It's kind of a Kiwi classic, I have to say. You go to the beach, you're gonna find guys, stubbies, some jandals as they say, or flip-flops for you Americans, probably a drink in their hands. Sup, bro? I'm a big fan. Next up is going to be Kiwi stuff, like tons of stuff. We're talking about the bird, we're talking about mugs, pens, paper pads, notebooks, stuffed animals, cookbooks, dog toys. Just kidding. You're not gonna find 10 ways to cook a delicious roast kiwi or the savage kiwi dog toy that your dog can rip to shreds. That's a no-no. But magnets, tiny spoons that people collect, you know what I'm talking about. Thimbles, weird stuff like that. Tons of it. Just good souvenirs. There are also tons of pies everywhere. And I'm not talking about fruit pies like in the States. I'm talking about savory, delicious, little pies about that size, baked to perfection just for you. And they're filled with mushrooms and spinach and cheese and mince or ground beef, steak, chicken. There's tons of pies. And you can find them everywhere. Gas stations, petrol stations, bakeries, supermarkets, top notch. I don't usually eat them because I have a gluten intolerance, but I am making a video soon comparing the different pies at different petrol stations because I've heard there's kind of a rivalry going on, so stay tuned for that. What else can you find in New Zealand everywhere? Cows, of course. We live here on a dairy farm in the Bay of Plenty, so I see them right outside my window, 5 feet away. Easy. A meter away. I go for a walk with my dog, cows. I go pick some veggies from the garden, cows. I'm driving down the road, cows. And it makes sense because if you didn't know, New Zealand is the 8th largest producer of milk in the whole world. And probably cheese too. They make a lot of cheese. Let's move on, shall we? Something else that you will find everywhere are greenstone. Now greenstones are sacred stones to the Maori people, the traditional people of New Zealand, and they see them as having spiritual healing properties and powers. And if you look around New Zealand, everybody's got a greenstone necklace. Everyone. I'll show you mine. 1 second. Here's mine. Can you see that? Yeah. We got it when we went for a little trip through Coromandel, but I'm pretty sure you can find them in the South Island. Is that right, guys? Either way, they're sold everywhere and everybody loves them. Next is Watties. Watties is a brand of ketchup here in New Zealand and it's everywhere. It's a bit sweet for my liking. I think they add a lot of sugar to it. Actually, there was a plant up in Napier in Hawke's Bay where we used to live, so it's kind of fun that it's local. Although, I am curious though, your guys' mustard, it's not so good. Not so good for us. We don't see people here using it often. Does that mean you guys don't like mustard, like yellow mustard? For instance, in the States we love mustard. We put it on burgers primarily, put it with pickles, and we could put sauerkraut, put it on sausages, hot dogs, but I feel like mayonnaise might be more popular here. What do you guys think? Something else you'll see here in New Zealand are silver ferns. So these are plants that grow naturally and they're found in those pine palm forests that are everywhere. It's also, I think, the logo for New Zealand, or I see it on everything. It's almost as common as the Kiwi bird as far as the logo goes. And I think some sports teams here. I should probably know that. You're probably gonna get mad at me. Often when we're driving along the New Zealand roads, we see tons of Maori buildings and culture everywhere. Now, I'm gonna try to say it, but their buildings are called whāranuis, and from what I understand, they are meeting houses where like the community discusses and decides things. You also see a lot of Maori like patterns and designs on lots of the architecture here in New Zealand. Hey, if you're digging this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. And of course, you can't think of New Zealand without thinking about the beaches. Yes, 15,000 kilometers of beach. But I think one thing to know and that not everybody talks about is that they're all different kinds of beaches, totally different. At the top in the Northland, there's like beautiful white beaches, white sand. In Auckland, there's this black magnetic sand. It's literally magnetic. And then at the bottom in the South Island, there's literally penguins. There's penguins in New Zealand on the beach. Crazy. And not to mention all the fjords that come off of the beach. Just, it's phenomenal. What a variety. Also, there is that beach that is in Coromandel, like I was talking about. It's called Cathedral Cove. It's this beautiful rock formation, and it's like the screensaver for Windows that they chose. It's just beautiful. You knew I was gonna say it. Sheep. 10 sheep to every 1 person here in New Zealand. Which is confusing to me because sheep stuff is rather expensive here. So where's the rest of it going? So I looked it up, and it turns out New Zealand made 437 million New Zealand dollars exporting wool just last year, which I don't 100% understand because from the farmers I've talked to, you pretty much break even with like shears coming to your land and the cost of that, and then pretty much when you sell the wool, you don't make any money off of it. Is that still true? Volcanoes. Did you know that 75% of all the world's volcanoes and 90% of all the earthquakes happen in this ring of fire around the Pacific Ocean rim? And guess where the Pacific Rim is? You guessed it, right here in New Zealand. The volcanoes here are beautiful, but if you go, make sure they're inactive. There have been some incidents here. We don't have to talk about it. Just be careful. Okay, this is the last one. This is for your safety, from me to you, from experience, sunburns. There are a plenty of sunburns. They are very common here. Why? Because there's like a hole in the ozone right above here. I don't know how it happened. You would think that this country is so clean and beautiful, there wouldn't be, but there's like a thinning spot right in the sky, so just be aware of that. Because when we arrived here in New Zealand, we were like, oh my gosh, the beach is right here, it's beautiful. We went, no sunscreen, 15 minutes, burnt to a crisp. Really started the trip off swell. There you have it. You know what to expect. If you want to know more about visiting New Zealand, check out this video next to learn more about that. And we'll see you next time. Thanks guys, bye. Sup bro? Shorty shirts. Well, for those of you who, next up is you're not gonna find ways to, and I'm not talking about, or ground beef as we call it. Cows, of course. Next, so as far as the logo, I should know that. Faranuis. Don't forget to just, but being exported that it makes, why? Because there is a bigger hole. I mean, there's really started to happen. We don't talk about it.